Hi, I'm Nisha DeGaring, host of Good Things Utah, and I've been a longtime supporter of Todd's Belief Cast. I hope you find inspiration in the courageous stories shared by the amazing people Todd features on his show. The guests serve as shoulders for us to stand on, allowing us to see a little further and cultivate belief in oneself. Remember, you have the dignity and power to change. I encourage you to keep striving and believing in yourself. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester, your host today of the Belief Cast. I have the honor of sitting down with a man who truly embodies the phrase, be the best for the world. Clint Pulver. Clint, thanks for being here.
I'm happy to be here. It's good to see you again.
Dude,
it's fun to be back.
It is good to have you back. He's been on before, folks, and many of you probably already know him, but if you don't, you're in for a treat. He's an Emmy Award winning speaker, best-selling author, pro drummer, which I absolutely love. I think that's the coolest thing about you. You got a lot of cool things about you. Global authority on leadership, culture, and employee engagement, known as the Undercover Millennial. Clint has helped organizations like the NBA, Microsoft, NASA create workplaces where people don't just survive, they thrive. But beyond all those accolades, and there's many more that we could mention, Clint's heart beats for connection, purpose, and impact. Whether he's given a child with disabilities the experience of flight through his Dream Machine Foundations, or inspiring millions to find meaning in their work and relationships, Clint's message reminds us that one moment, one act of belief can change a life forever. Clint, again, I consider you a friend, a mentor. I learn from you all the time, so thank you for being here. And with your schedule, it just means a lot that you take time to be here again.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
So, again, I think a lot of people do know you. You're really famous nowadays.
I don't know about that.
I know you don't look at it that way at all. You're a very humble guy, but I love just you're very charismatic, a very principle-based person. Like you're a guy of integrity, in my opinion, and I'm sure everyone would back that up. So I just want you to know how much I honor you and look up to you because of those attributes that you try to embody. I know you're not a perfect individual, but man, you really just shine so bright.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you. I'm just trying my best every day. Trying to, again, be the best for the world. That's the goal. So thank you.
You bet. For those who don't know your story, I think, why don't we start off? I mean, you were this, kid who couldn't hold still. You had to be tapping and hitting something all day long, and it caused a lot of issues for you as a young child. That's an amazing story in itself. So do you mind sharing and recapping for those who don't know this story?
For sure. Yep. When I was little, it wasn't just the inability to focus. I just couldn't sit still. I would just constantly move and hit and tap. And obviously, if you're in a meeting and someone's like clicking a pen or they're tapping their foot, that gets annoying really quickly. And so I got nicknamed the tapper. I got nicknamed the twitcher in school. I got teased. I got sent to the principal's office. And it happened again and again and again until one day there was an educator, and his name was Mr. Jensen. And he was my 5th grade teacher. Yeah. And he looked at me in class as I was tapping, and he said, "Clint, I need you to stop. And I also need to see you after class. You and me, we're going to have a conversation." And I remember thinking, like, this is it. Like, I'm getting kicked out of school as a 10-year-old. And the bell rang, class dismissed, everybody left. It was a completely empty room, minus me and Mr. Jensen. And he calls me to the back of the room. He sits me down and he goes, "Listen, you move a lot. You're constantly tapping. You're kind of the kid that's on the list." Yeah. And he said, I've watched you though. And he said, "It's crazy. You take a pen and you work on an assignment. You write with your right hand and then you tap with your left hand." And then he said, "I've noticed that you will switch the pen and you start writing with your left hand and then you tap with your right hand." And he looked at me and he said, I think you're ambidextrous." And I had no idea what that meant. Right. And he said, can you tap your head and then rub your belly at the same time? Right. And I could do that without thinking about it.
I struggle with that one.
Yeah. And he said, "Can you switch it?" And I had this independence that he recognized, and he looked at me and he said, "Listen, I don't think you're a problem. I just think you're a drummer."
Wow.
And I remember in that moment thinking, like, I don't really, like, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? And he reaches back in his desk and he opens up the top drawer and he reached inside and he took out my very first pair of drumsticks.
Wow.
And he put those sticks in my hands and he said, listen, I just want you to promise me one thing. I just want you to keep them in your hands. Just keep the sticks in your hands. I don't think you're a problem. I think you're an opportunity.
Dang.
And that was a moment that defined and changed so much for me in my life.
Yeah.
That was now 28 years ago. And for 28 years, I've been a drummer.
Yeah.
And a good portion of that, I've been a professional drummer. I've been able to tour and record and play with amazing artists and amazing people and do some really significant things. My whole college education was paid for because of music scholarships, because of one person who decided to see what everybody else saw as a problem. He saw it as an opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. And you know, you kind of hit the theme of be a Mr. Jensen.
Totally.
What does that exactly mean? Like when you hear that, what does that mean for someone?
Yeah, we
like
live that's a great question. We live in a world right now where you watch the news for 5 minutes, you scroll on social media for 5 seconds. This world is really good at reminding you of all of the things that are not right, all of the things that are not correct, all of the things that are focused on problems, disappointment, frustrations, negativity. And the Mr. Jensen story to me is the power of what happens when in your world you decide to see what's right. You focus on the good. We focus on the opportunity, not the problems. It doesn't mean that we're not, astute to the difficulties in life or that we're burying our head in the sand to some of the hardships that reality can give us. But it's choosing optimism. It's not. I've never met anybody that wants to follow a pessimist.
Right.
And when you're an individual that chooses to see hope and opportunity and significance and the possibilities of what might be, you change the culture, you change the dynamic, you change the story, not only for yourself, but everybody that experiences you.
Yeah.
And Mr. Jensen was that person. And I think it's important to ask, how do people experience you? And how do they experience themselves when they're with you? Is somebody better because you're in their life, or are they better because you're not? And Mr. Jensen was that individual that because of him and what he decided to see, it changed everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Wow, that I love that, and we need to be more like that. I think I heard a statistic once, or a study that was done. If you watch 3 minutes of the nightly news, you have a 30% chance of having a horrible day.
Yeah,
just only 3 minutes.
Totally agree with that.
So, and I do too.
Yeah,
it's like wow, and it tells you how that is such a negative influence, unfortunately. And you're right. A lot of times that kind of wins the day. All these negativity, and so. Being someone like a Mr. Jensen who's like, no, I'm going to look at the opportunity here, and I love how, and that really was a moment that set you on your course. So you start obviously playing the drums, and for those who don't know, man, if you've never seen Clint play the drums, you're amazing. It was funny this morning. I was watching one of your drum solos. I was like, dang, it was part of the solo I think was Slipknot. And dude, it was wow. It was amazing. Like you really are amazing. And I think you've done work with, didn't you start the UVU drum Green Man? Or
the Green Man Group.
The Green Man Group.
Yeah. It's a little spin-off of the Blue Man Group. Yeah. They're the highest funded collegiate drum line in the country for scholarships. And it's something I'm very proud of because of what it does for so many young players and gives them the opportunity to get an education and play the drums.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously you start playing the drums as a kid, and obviously this has continued for 28 years. Did you find yourself, as you started kind of embracing playing the drums as a kid, did you see how that you like the confidence in yourself started to grow at the same time? How did that kind of correlate? Yeah,
100%. Drumming gave me an identity.
Okay.
And it gave me something to attach to that, for the most part, is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it was something that, here's the thing about like music in general, and specifically the drums, is we are, to some extent, as drummers, the heartbeat of the music. Mm-hmm. We set the tempo. Yeah. We control so much of the feel. There's just something about rhythm in your body, right? You have a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If people tell me all the time, I don't have rhythm. I wish I had rhythm. I'm like, if you walk, you have rhythm, right? Right, left, right, left. Like that is rhythm. Yeah. And there's a reason why they call it the seat that we sit on as drummers is called the throne. And it's not, it just, you lead it. You lead out. You are in charge of so much that happens in that space. And as someone who's really tried to live their life in a way that moves people towards something good, something impactful, drums for me has always been that. How I play, the energy I bring, the technique that I have, what drum I choose to hit at what point really makes a difference. It really adds so much to the music. And you look at some of the most iconic songs in the history of music, and so much of what makes it iconic is the drum part.
The drum.
And the drummer, that signature sound that every drummer has. I don't know. I love how it moves people.
For sure. This is a little sidebar here, but who's your favorite drummer? Do you have a favorite guy that you like? This is my guy.
Yeah, that's such a hard
tough question.
There's like the legends that everybody would know, like Neil Peart and John Bonham, and even Buddy Rich, like those old classic jazz drummers. But for me, my favorite drummer, probably many people don't know unless you are a drummer, is Simon Phillips. He was the first drummer in my life that I just fell in love with his sound. He was the drummer for Toto for a really long time.
Okay, yeah.
And I love
Toto.
Yeah, love Simon. The drummer for Limp Bizkit is Charlie Adams. He was the drummer for Yanni, like beautiful piano music. Yanni, the best drum solo artist in the world.
Wow.
And so much of my style, what's so cool about drumming is I could put headphones on, not see a video, and just through the sound, I could tell you the drummer. If they're a well-known,
that's amazing.
Because of how they play, and so much of my playing and my fingerprint in music is just a ripple effect of those other individuals that I learned so much from. Their sound, what I fell in love with, their technique, again, how they moved people, how they told stories through music. I mean, there's just so much to it. But yeah, those would Simon Phillips and Charlie Adams.
Gotcha.
Those would be Eric Moore, gospel drummer. Yeah, iconic legends.
Nice.
Any drummer, you know who those people are. Yeah,
that's awesome. Very cool. I was going to ask you, have you seen the show Whiplash by chance?
I have seen the edited version of Whiplash, and it's very intense show.
It needs to be edited.
Yeah, it was a very intense show. Yeah.
I picture that last scene of him playing that solo. It was just
blood, sweat,
I'm sure
and
that
tears
gets your blood pumping, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's an instrument that requires everything. It requires all mental capacity. It is a physical, a drummer that, depending on what music you play, the physicality, changes.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's a very athletic instrument. You have to,
For sure.
as I have aged, I have realized how athletic it can be.
Well, that's cool. I was just curious if you'd seen that. It's a great show. So how did that lead to, you're playing the drums, and you speak for a living. You travel the world and you speak to organizations, and it's kind of like your wheelhouse, man. You're probably just as comfortable on stage as you are with the drums, it seems like. And how did that come about, and how did drums lead to you, like, I'm going to go perform on stage and speak and help people?
Yeah. The quick story of it is I never wanted to be a professional drummer growing up. I never wanted to be a speaker growing up. I actually wanted to be a helicopter pilot. I wanted to fly. Aviation was always the goal.
Okay.
I was diagnosed with an eye disease at the age of 21, and I was going to lose my sight. And I was already a pilot. I went through flight school as a senior in high school, flew airplanes first, and then was going to transition over to helicopters. Okay. And I'll never forget that day when I got diagnosed. Wow. And he said, "You've got until age 30 until you go blind." And then he asked the question that many young people are asked is, what do you want to do when you grow up? Like, what's the plan? And I said, I want to fly. And he said, that will never happen for you. And I ended up going to school, ended up going to college. I toured. I thought about being a professional drummer, like doing the actual pro drumming gig.
Yeah.
But I never looked at drumming as a a full-time thing that was conducive to having a family, and I wanted to be home and I wanted to be present.
Right.
And when you're touring as a drummer or any kind of a musician, like when you're on tour, you're on tour. There is no coming home.
Right.
And it's a hard life. It
Sure.
really is difficult. And so I ended up going to college. I went into the medical field, was totally miserable there, just not super fulfilled in that industry.
Yeah.
And it was 3 years after college, I got the phone call from the Moran Eye Center, and they told me that they had just come out with a brand new study that was not FDA approved, and it was a clinical trial called cross-linking for people with my eye disease.
Okay.
And I was barely legal enough to drive at that point, and my eyesight was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I was number 48 out of 600 people that did that procedure. And they did it on my right eye, and then 6 months later they did it on my left, and it stopped the disease.
Wow.
And so at least I wasn't going to go blind, but I still couldn't fly. That original dream didn't take place. And out of that kind of frustration and unfulfillment in my job, there was a mentor in college that shared with me a quote by Oscar Wilde that changed my life. And the quote says, "To live is the rarest thing in the world, for most people merely exist." And that quote haunted me, because every day in my life I felt like I was just existing.
Man.
I had this dream of flight, and I just couldn't keep up. I just couldn't. I didn't find fulfillment. I didn't find purpose. I didn't, like Mark Twain said, his famous phrase is, "There's two important days in a person's life: the day you're born, and then the day you figure out why." And for me, I just felt like I was not put on this earth to do what I was doing. And when I was a senior in high school, I had the opportunity to speak in church. I just gave a talk in church.
Yeah.
There was a guy in the congregation that heard me speak, and he came up and he said, "I want you to come and do a youth leadership talk down in southern Utah." And I said, what do you mean? He's like, "It's high school students. I want you to come and share your message. I want you to just share something."
Yeah.
And I said, "No." I was like, "I'm good. Like, I'm a high school kid. I don't want to go talk to other high school kids." And he's like, "I'll pay you $500. And I was like, "Okay, we can do this."
You're like, "Yeah,
I was like, I'm in. So I went down and I did that little presentation, and I put just music principles together, and I gave everybody buckets and drumsticks, and I just taught things that I had learned as a drummer.
Yeah.
And it lit my heart on fire.
Wow.
It was one of the only things, minus flying, where I felt like I was like alive to some extent. I felt like I had purpose. That was something that, because of what I was saying, that people were coming up to me saying, "I'm going to live differently. I'm going to do things differently." And as a young senior in high school, that was like a very transformative, awe-inspiring moment of like, like that's really special. And I had 6 other schools that came up to me after that event, and they said, "We want you to come speak at our school." And I grew up in a small little town. I had no idea what a public speaker, a professional speaker was.
Sure.
And I went and did those schools, and it lit my heart on fire. But I never again looked at that as a sustainable career.
Right.
Like, my parents were like, "That doesn't have benefits. That doesn't have a 401k package. That doesn't have insurance. That doesn't like, how are you going to again support and provide for a family?" And so fast forward to that moment in the medical field, unfulfilled.
Yeah.
I sat down with 3 friends and I said, "Would it be crazy if you could find a job that allows you to do 3 things: purpose, passion, and the ability to provide?" Like, what if you could find something in your life that really allowed you to live? Purpose, passion, and the ability to provide.
The 3 Ps.
And both of my friends were like, "I just don't know if that exists. Like, I don't even know if that's a thing." Like, what job allows you to do all of that most of the time? Like, look at a school teacher full of purpose and passion, but every summer they're looking for another job to make ends meet.
Exactly.
Or look at
so true.
a doctor, making good money, but then the stress and the time away from family. What you're asking for is so rare. That's what my friend said. And as soon as he said that, it triggered the quote by Oscar Wilde: "To live is the rarest thing in the world."
Dude, that just gave me chills.
And 2 weeks, Todd, 2 weeks after that, I quit my job. And I left the medical world. I left the safety and the foundations of all the things that I had been taught to kind of look for in a career. And I decided to become a professional speaker.
Wow.
And I went back to that moment where I felt like I was truly living. And I can now, 8 years later from that day, I can say the day I quit my job in my life. That was really the day I started living.
Started to live.
Mm-hmm.
No longer existing.
Totally.
And it was miserable, like you said. Even though it was, providing, there was no purpose or passion.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
And it's been one
Well, and I
wild
love
ride
how you
since
really
then.
focus on, there's these moments in life. The one moment can change everything, Teacher hands you some drumsticks and believes in you. Boom. Right? You get invited to go speak at a school. And actually, you were kind of a professional on day one because they paid you.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how professional I was, but
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
anyway, and then
yeah.
obviously that opened up, and then you had that talk with your friends. And again, I just love, I see that in my own life. I look back and go, man, that led to this and that led to that.
The moments.
The moments,
Yeah.
man, they're so powerful.
We don't remember the days in our lives. We remember the moments. And so much of what makes us a great story great are just small little moments over time that add up to be a lot.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you're a fantastic speaker. You've probably heard this all the time, but I really mean that. Like, I love how you just command the stage, but again, you can tell that it's your purpose, and you love it.
I do.
Like,
love
there's
it.
so much love, because you can tell when people hate their jobs,
Big time.
right? You
Yep.
can just tell they're just like, oh, I don't want to be here.
Yep.
Obviously, you found it, and man, you thrive there. You truly do.
The privilege of the platform is a really sacred thing. And
Yeah.
to be a speaker or to get the opportunity to just have any stage, or whether it's life is a stage,
Yeah.
whether it's the stage of being at home and being a mother or a father, or being, the stage of life where you are providing or you're working, or life is a stage, but to truly have that opportunity to live from a stage where, because of what you say or how you say it, somebody might live their life better is very significant. It's a sacred place.
Yeah.
And I'll never take it for granted, and I'm very lucky to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's amazing. You talked about your passion for flying and something that you always wanted to do, but obviously it got derailed a little bit there. But you have this foundation. It's called Dream Machines. Is that correct? Talk about that. I mean, I think it's one of the coolest things that you're doing, and obviously it's a way to maybe be involved in flying again.
So here's the crazy part, and the full circle moment of the story that I shared. 2.5 years ago, Todd, I was in for a routine eye exam, and in an eye clinic, and I was meeting with a new doctor, and he was looking through my medical history, and he said, "Oh, it says you're a pilot." And I looked at him and I said, "I used to be."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Why are you not in scleral lenses?" And I remember looking at him going, "What do you mean?" He goes, "It's like it's the wave. It's the whole talk of the town. It is the biggest deal, and it is a lens that has been designed for people with your eye disease, and it is changing the game." And he said, "You have to let me fit you. You have to let me try these lenses." And I looked at him and I said, "Listen, I've been through this for a while, and this eye disease has been a part of my life for a long time. And I have had many doctors say, you should try this, or let's try this, or I've done this a lot, and I think I'm good." He said, "No, you don't understand. Like, this is a different animal. This is a whole different level." And so he talked me into giving it a shot, and we went through 3.5 months of fit after fit, resizing, reshaping. And I will never forget 2.5 years ago in that clinic, and he had the foggles on, and he said, what's better, 1 or 2? And I said 2, and he clicks it again. He goes, "What's better, 3 or 4?" And I said 3. And he said, read the bottom line, read the lowest line that you can read.
Yeah.
And I said, CKGELFWZ. And he said, "You just hit 2020. And I started crying, Todd, because the moment when that happened, the first thing that went through my mind is, I can fly. I was never able to have a medical. I was never able to be physically able to fly. And for the first time in 28 years, or no, it would have been not 28 years, excuse me, 18 years was when the diagnosis had happened to that time.
Yeah, okay.
And I was able to jump back in that cockpit, and it's been 2 years ago. I bought a helicopter. I I bought a helicopter, and I learned firsthand that sometimes in your life, good things fall apart so that better things can fit together.
Ooh.
And I have a bucket list in my life, Todd, and it's very profound for me. I live my life kind of to that list to some extent.
Yeah.
I think in your life, at the end of it, you're going to be surrounded by two things. You'll either be surrounded by the woulda, shouldas, and the couldas, or you'll be surrounded by the do it, did it, done it's. And the bucket list has been a way for me to like live a life by design, as cliche as that sounds. Zig Ziglar is the guy that always said you can be a wandering generality or you can be a meaningful specific.
I love that.
And the bucket list has helped me to do that. And I wrote on my bucket list years ago, I said, if you ever had the opportunity to fly again, or to get, because it was really hard for me to be around aviation,
right?
Because it was very sensitive. It was very like I couldn't go to an air show. I couldn't because it just reminded me of how much I loved it.
Absolutely.
But I wrote on that list, if you ever had the ability to fly again, I would create a foundation that gave back to kids specifically with disabilities and would give them the gift of flight. The thing I love about aviation was not so much flying, it was the ultimate moment machines that they were. That you were able to take other people and give them that perspective, give them that experience. And it didn't matter what was going on in their life, something about general aviation and being in a small aircraft in the sky, having that experience, it doesn't matter the pain, the heartache, the frustration, the stress, the disease, the hurt, all of that disappeared.
Wow.
And people were completely free. And so that's what led us to create Dream Machines. And we provide little kiddos and their families the opportunity and the magic of flight. And pilots donate their time, and we bring in anywhere from 4 to 6 helicopters, and we create this ultimate moment day where we give those families and those little kiddos that ability to be free. Yeah. I love it. It's one of the coolest things I've ever had the chance to be a part of.
I can see you lit up when we started talking about this. Like,
I love it.
Yeah, I can tell. Wow, that is so cool. And I love what you said, how when you're up there, you forget about all your troubles.
Yeah.
You know, not just you, but that's why you wanted to provide that for these kids who are struggling, right?
Totally.
Give you a chance to like, let's forget that for a while.
Yeah.
And let's go fly.
Yeah. Again, to maybe be a catalyst to where somebody might find their smile. Somebody might live differently. Somebody might write a better story. Like, that is just enthralling to me. That is the purpose of life. That is what I'm put on this earth to do, and I love any chance I get to do that. So,
wow. I know you're a man of faith, and do you mind if I ask you, I know this is kind of a personal question about how has that played a part in just how you live your life and, you know, in these quote unquote miracles really happening in your life? Yeah.
My faith is the foundation of everything in my life. God is number one. Nobody writes a better story than God.
Right.
And he is the great orchestrator, and I have seen his hand in my life. I don't know if we need to stop. But
no, we're good. We got some banging going on.
Yeah,
up there.
We got the garbage truck. Just
you hear that in the background?
The trash.
Yeah.
But he has made more out of my life than I ever could have on my own, and choosing him first is it's the best investment I've ever made, because God always pays the best returns. Period in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everything.
Seems like always something tries to get in the way when you want to talk about these kind of things, right?
This is a perfect example, yeah.
Right?
Yep. That's the story of my life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Story of your life. Yep. Always a challenge. No, thank you for sharing that. And again, I appreciate, that's another reason why I admire you so much, that you wear that on your sleeve, and, you own that. And I think that's great. And I think we need more of that in this today's world. Just, whether you believe in God or a higher power, just kind of like realizing there's something bigger and better and beyond what we can do, and that we need help, and we need guidance, and we need support in this kind of crazy world at times.
Correct.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know anybody that lives a life of significance on their own. There's always whether, again, either physical or spiritual angels, right? People in your life, whether it's the Mr. Jensen, whether it is a God, a higher power, a great mom, a dad, individuals that showed up at the right time and they made the impossible possible. Nobody does this right on their own.
Yeah. Wow. I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the incredible sponsors of the BeliefCast podcast. First, Craig from Craig Swap and Associates. If you need an attorney, he's your guy. Trustworthy, compassionate, always there when you need him most. Next, Wasatch Recovery, the greatest university on the planet, transforming lives one day at a time. Sandy from Minky Couture, the creative genius behind the most comfortable blanket you'll ever wrap yourself in. Comfort like no other. Special thanks to the award-winning pianist Paul Cardall for his beautiful music that brings inspiration to every episode. That's awesome. You know, you have been the undercover millennial. You know, if someone was to go undercover in your life, what would they discover?
I think they would discover that at what many people would seem or what would look like success is oftentimes organized chaos. Right now, I think it's the craziest time in my life as far as just busyness, and we've got 3 little kids. We're running a foundation. I'm serving as a bishop in my church.
Oh, really? I didn't. Wow.
Yeah. We've been doing that for 5 years, and so that's been a full-time job. We're building a house right now. The business, writing, creating, but the cool thing is like it's all wonderful. They're all very good, right, fulfilling, significant, great things. Right. But I think if anyone went undercover, they would get a good glimpse into how nobody has it figured out. And that's right. One thing I've learned, even just in my specific church calling, is how natural the man is, and how we're all just trying to make it, and nobody has it figured out. Right. And and it's a testament to, again, why we need so many other people. Yeah. And what might look like, oh, he's just, he's doing great. It's like, no, it's actually a culmination of a lot of little miracles, and at times where you're just barely holding on, and you're barely just trying to survive. And so I think it would be not all that it might seem like on social media or on your website or what you see on stage. It's everybody's fighting battles that nobody has any idea about. Yeah. And we're all human, and we're all just trying to do our best for the most part. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's good. Thanks for answering that. I was just curious because, that's what you do. You go into businesses and you figure out what's going on underneath the scene there, behind the scenes, You're also really good at helping people feel seen. That's one of your tenets that you follow and do. When was the last time you felt unseen?
Unseen in my life?
And maybe that hasn't happened in a while, but I was just curious if you ever feel like, again, because you help people in that area feel like, they matter. Yeah. And that there's a place here for you. Yeah. Just curious if you ever have those moments where you're feeling like unseen yourself.
Yeah, I think even what's wild is, so it's been 2.5 months ago, I was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
the speaker.
Congratulations, by the way. That was amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. But what was wild is you go through that experience, and then what I noticed is literally the next week, it was like you're so seen for that accolade, for that accomplishment, and it was wonderful, and it was beautiful. It was very magical night, and a dream come true in a lot of ways. Yeah. But then the next week, it was like I'm putting my pants on the same way that everybody else does, and I'm in the same boat as an entrepreneur. We work 80 hours a week, so we don't have to work 40. Yes. And it was this mentality of like, okay, cool. Like that's a wonderful way to feel seen. But then at the end of the day, is the industry going to still see the same value? Am I still going to be able to produce? Am I still going to be able to provide? Am I still going to be able to, every year, I don't care how good my last year was, I still think, am I going to be able to still pull this off? Yeah. Am I still going to be able to stay relevant? Yeah. Am I still going to be needed? And so I would say that was a very interesting moment from being totally seen in the highest regard. And then the week after that, it's you're back to kind of just trying to make it. Yeah. And I would say that would be a good contrasting moment of really feeling seen, and then wondering if you'll ever be seen again.
No, that's well said. Great story. And I love that, because that just makes, for those listening are probably like, okay, man, he's just like me. You know, I think we all have, like you said, we all have these struggled moments that no one knows about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
People are people.
People are people, and
yeah.
we all, you know, despite the successes, life is still life. We still have our challenges. You know, people who didn't know you would have no idea you had these issues with your eyes. They would have no clue.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this guy's got the blessed life. He's got nothing wrong. Everything's great, you know.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, if they understood everything, they'd be like, oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm just like you.
Yeah.
And we're all
and
just.
One of the things, too, I really admire about you, Clint, is how hard you work. You're a hard worker. Like, I think that's partly why it's no accident, like how successful you are, because you're putting in the work. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. None of this has happened. It has happened through the grace and the goodness and the miracles of God and something beyond me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, as cliche as this again sounds, but God can't steer a parked car, and it did take some movement. It did take some effort, and it did take some,
I like that.
the ability to just walk and to, you can't stand in front of a fireplace and say, "Give me heat, then I'll give you wood." It took effort of putting in the time.
Yeah.
And like I said, we work 80 hours a week, so we don't have to work 40. And what might look like an overnight success has actually been 8 years of a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
And a lot of sleepless nights, and a lot of lonely nights on the road, and a lot of time away from family, and a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of difficulty, and a lot of ups and downs. And so it's I think it's the ups and downs in life that let you know that you're alive. So but it's been no easy road that has taken a lot of work. And still takes work.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like you said, every year it's kind of like a reset. Okay, I got to get back going. Here we go.
Totally.
Right.
Yep.
But I love that God can't steer a parked car. I love that. I've never heard that before.
Gear. Yeah, you got to get moving.
You got to move.
You got to
do something.
You got to move.
Right?
Yeah,
Faith without works is dead.
There you go. Amen. Amen.
You know, one of the things you're really famous for and things you live by is, you know, you don't be the best in the world, be the best for the world. Talk about that and why that means so much to you.
Yeah, there's a difference in life between being successful versus being significant. And success, I think, can be a little bit fleeting. It can be forgotten. It can be, fame, if you win it, comes and goes in a minute.
Yeah.
Where significance, I think, has the ability to live well beyond you. That has, at the end of the day, it is more filled with joy and fulfillment and purpose. And it is not about being the best in the world. It's about being the best for the world. And for me, that's kept the motive alive. That's kept the fuel. That's kept the energy. That's kept the excitement, and allowed me, I think, to do the hard work, because it's doing it for something that intrinsically is so much bigger than me. And if I were to ask, like, who are the last 3 NFL MVPs? Like, most people have no idea, right? Or
I couldn't answer it.
Who are the last 2 Academy Award winners for Best Actor? Who was the last Miss America? Like, we don't really know. But if I were to say, like, who's the teacher in your life, in your young life, that made the biggest difference, or who's a family member or a friend that's really helped you through a difficult time in the last couple of weeks? Like, we remember those people, right? Because they played a significant role. It was not the success, it was the significance. They got to the part about us. And everybody's asking that question. Everybody's asking the question, let me know when it gets to the part about me. And I think living in a way that, again, you're the best for that person. You're the best for that company. You're the best for your spouse. You're the best for your kids. It's just, in my life, it's been a better way to live. And it's kind of, it's my mantra. It's the thing that I
for sure
strive to do.
Yeah. And I think you do a good job at it. And I love it. I think I couldn't agree more. It's funny when you say that. Who do you remember? And my mind went to my sophomore basketball coach, Coach Larry Wall. He was the one that made me become, like, I could play basketball with anybody. He was the guy that said, I believe in you, Todd, you got this. And he let me just kind of command the team. It was amazing.
You'll never forget him.
Never.
Yeah.
I sent him an email a little while ago, and I'm not quite sure if he got it. I got to figure out if I got to track him down. But thanking him this many years later, going, you know what? he was my Mr. Jensen, that just said, Todd, you can do this.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And I'll never forget that, like you said.
Yeah. And
Pretty
it's
cool.
those people like,
yeah.
And I've learned even just in the research, right? You never forget the good ones, but you also never forget the bad ones, right? You forget the people that didn't believe in you and the people that didn't add to your life and that didn't add that value, or they were all just in it for them versus how they were in it for you. Again, everybody's asking the question, let me know when it gets to the part about me. And if you think that way and you remember that, it's amazing how, again, you can just be such a significant force for good in the lives of so many other people. And it's a better way to live, I think. Yeah.
I love that. This kind of goes into this next question. If there's someone that's tuned into this episode right now, listening to your voice, and they're in a dark place and they're struggling and they're not quite sure what to do, they're hanging on barely. Yeah. What would you tell that person right now, Clint?
There's a lot of different thoughts that I would say. One interesting thought that just comes to mind right out of the gate is there's a significant story in, I'm not remembering the book right now. It's Napoleon Hill. He's the author.
Is it Think and Grow Rich?
It is Think and Grow Rich. And it's a story about the gentleman that was mining for gold. I love that story. Yeah. And so this story is that he sold his land on the East Coast, went out to the West to pursue this gold rush and how to find gold and to hit it big. Buys all the equipment, goes out, tries to do all the things. He's mining, he's digging. He's got the machine, he's got the tactics, he's got all this stuff. And it just doesn't work. And it's not working. And it's not happening. And one day the machine hits this rock, it breaks, and it's the last straw. And he goes down to town, he goes to the local storehouse, and he said, I'm done, I'm out. Like, I can't do it anymore. And he said, I'll take the first offer, and whoever wants this, it's yours. And I'm going back, and I'm going to do what I know I can do. Right. And first buyer came and said, yeah, I'll give you this. Went up, fixed the machine, cranked it on, starts it, and I think the story, I'm probably really butchering this, but starts digging into the mountain and digs in 3 feet and hits the largest gold rush vein in the California gold rush history of that whole endeavor. And the guy he stopped when he was 3 feet away from the gold. Yeah. Is the meaning. And I have had many times in my life where I wanted to give up, or I wanted to just quit, or it was so much. And there's power in what I call a nap and a snack. If you can just give yourself a day, give yourself a moment to just take a nap, have a snack, and just dig 3 more feet. Yeah. Just like that would be there is go ask for help or find somebody to help you or go read a book or go take a course or go to counseling or there's so many wonderful things, but for me it's that idea of, all right, can I just try one more day? Because I might be 3 feet away from the gold. Yeah. Take a little nap and a snack, reset, ask for some help, and keep digging. Yeah. And it's been that little bit of a mentality. Again, not like toxic positivity, but just what if I'm just right on the cusp of what could be, what could happen if I just give it one more day. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. Thank you. That's great advice, and nap and a snack. Remember that, folks.
Sometimes you just need a nap and a snack.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, we do tend to give up before we should. I've done that in my life plenty of times. This podcast that we were talking about that I've been doing now for 8 years, there was moments where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Yeah. And I just kept going. And I might butcher this, so if someone has the actual stat, forgive me, but I think the stat is, there's millions of podcasts now, millions of podcasts out there. Yeah. Less than 1% get past episode 50. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when I heard that, and I had been well past that for a minute, I was like, oh, I was a little proud of myself that I didn't give up. Yeah. And, and I look back now, like with the people I've had on my show and the comments I get from people like you who come on and like it was the one thing, this one person listening, even if it was the one that I'm going to change my life because of what Clint said. I'm like, okay, this is why I stuck this out.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, and two, I think it's also cool to give space for, sometimes it is okay to quit, right? Sometimes like, you know, it is okay to look at, all right, this is not, we have given this a good go. And so it is that balance.
Right.
But I think, again, so many great things could have been even greater because somebody just, again, a nap and a snack, a day, a friend, a moment, something to just give you that fuel to kind of keep going. And at the end of the day, if it is full of passion, if it's full of purpose, if it allows you to provide, if this is enriching your soul, again, if you think that this is what you're put on this earth to do, or that what you're called to do, just give that everything, because so many people are just existing because perhaps maybe they never started, or they quit when they might have been 3 feet away.
Will you share that Oscar Wilde quote again?
Yeah, the quote is, to live is the rarest thing in the world. For most people merely exist.
Oof. Man, I'm gonna print that off here in a minute and just put it on my wall. I love that. And it's so true. And thankfully I've learned from giants in my life. I often will say I'm here because I'm standing on shoulders of giants. Yeah. And you're one of those as well that I look up to and just admire, and like, okay, man, that I want to be that person on stage too. If that's, you know, I want to show that love and passion like you do. Yeah,
thank you. And you're doing it. You are doing it.
Thank you.
And it's inspiring.
Coming from you, that means a lot.
To see the good that you're doing. Even when we did the first show years and years ago, to what you're doing now and where you're at, it's just, it's amazing.
Thank you.
The best.
That means a lot coming from you. So, but I love all you do. There's so much more we could be talking about. What's on the horizon? Is there any new things coming up, or are you just kind of like, you know, status quo, keep doing the things you've been doing? Is that?
Yeah, that's a really cool question, Todd, because for 8 years, it's been growth. It's been development. It's been writing. It's been the sacrifice. It's been the grind. It's been that entrepreneurial journey of creating a brand, the research, the products, the keynote, all of the things that create sustainability and, again, fulfill that purpose and passion in my life. The thing about this journey is we noticed about 4 years probably into this 8-year career thus far is that there's always another mountain you can climb. There's something that as an entrepreneur, or even a business owner, or even if you're going to college, or you're a mom, or there's always more that can be done. There's always more money that could be made. Right. There's always another book that you could write. There's always another something. And I've seen in my career other individuals that are constantly scaling the next mountain. They're constantly, and I learned that if you're living in tomorrow, you're going to be full of a lot of forgetful yesterdays.
Wow.
And
I love that. Me
and my wife, Kelly, another important angel in my life, that so much of the success that we've had is because of her. Yeah. We got really specific in year 4, and we said, when is it going to be enough? Because we learned really quickly that you could get sucked into this mode of there's always something else. Right. And so as we designed that, we looked at what's the financial goal, what's the speaking goal, what is the when do you reach actual fulfillment in a life? Yeah. Not always just striving for the next big thing, but when can you actually sit and go, I'm fulfilled? Yeah. And I will share this. My grandpa, before he passed away, he said that there was nothing greater in his life than the ability to lay his head down on his pillow, and he would look up at the ceiling, and he said that there was nothing more just enriching and full of joy in his life when he could lay down at night, looked at the ceiling, and he knew that he was right with God. That was his ultimate fulfillment. That was his ultimate, and so for me, after this 8-year journey, there's some things that we wanted to accomplish. There's some levels of success and significance that we're striving for. And we're building a home right now, and it's a little bit of our dream home, and we've worked really hard for it. Yeah. And writing the book, the research study, the key, all the things. And at the end of this year, in May, it will kind of be the top of the mountain for us. Yeah. And it will be a moment for me that I'm really looking forward to in this journey, to be able to say, it's enough. Yeah. And I'm truly fulfilled. Wow. There's nothing that I really want. There's nothing I need. And And right now in my life, I've strived to really have that ability every night to lay my head down on my pillow and say, I'm right with God.
Ooh, I love
and
that.
so I'm really looking forward to just continuing that.
Love it.
Work in your fulfillment and be
Dang.
happy with what you have.
Beautifully said, Clint. Beautifully said. Wow. Well, man, I think the world of you. Thanks for your time today. This was a
You're
great
welcome.
conversation.
Thanks for your friendship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. Always will be. Obviously, if there's anything I could ever do for you, please let me know. Thanks for taking the time and not only enriching my life, but enriching everyone that's tuning in. We've got a great following now, and I want to thank all of them for tuning in as well. But I'm sure that they're going, man, what a great episode.
I hope so.
I'm sure they are.
Thank you, Todd.
If someone wants to check out what you're doing, get your book, learn more about your speaking, or hire you, maybe even to do something at their corporation, what's the best way for them to do that?
No, thanks, Todd. The book's called I Love It Here, How Great Leaders Create Organizations Their People Never Want to Leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then the website is just clintpulver.com.
Yeah, pretty simple.
There it is.
And you get to watch him play the drums, man. You got to at least check him out playing the drums. It's amazing. You could even just do a YouTube search, and he'll have hundreds of drum solos out there. But yeah, you're phenomenal.
Thanks, Todd.
You're my hero.
I appreciate you. Yeah, likewise.
Okay.
It's good to be here. Thank you,
man. Well, there you go, folks. Thanks you so much for tuning in. Man, Clint Pulver, guys, go check him out. Follow him on social media. If anything, just support what he does. He brings more light into this world, and we need more of that. And you guys know that this world is a lot of negativity going on out there, and Clint's one of those bright lights out there that we need to kind of, lift up and also follow his lead, and all of us be the best for the world. And I'm going to use that mantra in my own life and with my kids and my family. And it's just great to connect, guys. And I love you. Thanks for tuning in. If you have a loved one who's struggling, send them a link to this episode. Clint's words will inspire them and help them kind of get through that dark moment and open up a conversation. So please do that. Thanks to my sponsors. Without you, I couldn't do it. Love you guys. And Clint, thanks again. Love you too. Take care.